All right. Hey, I'm back. City Government 101. Nathan and George and I are going to talk a little bit. I don't know how this is going to go. I want to talk a little bit about amenities, whether it be trails, parks. You as a private business owner have been more impacted than the average citizen on the downtown project.
The last couple of years, yeah.
You really have. Mm-hmm. And so, but you see new sidewalks, you see new trees, you see new power poles, you see new landscaping, you see all of these things. And so kind of why do we do some of this stuff? What are your thoughts?
I would imagine that a lot of people who are driving down El Paso feel like asking that question. Why are we doing that?
Yeah. Because that's an issue I want to talk about.
Well, and it too, like when you think about like who's responsible for what, like we're not responsible for state highways, but we are responsible for our streets. And so when it comes to an issue like downtown construction, you run into several different aspects of that. And for me as a business owner downtown, the project is amazing. Mm-hmm. I am extremely grateful and thankful for the project itself. It has caused some hiccups in like day-to-day business, but like it's not permanent. Now, if I was in a business that had just started and was really trying to build up, clientele and things like that, and I was in downtown, I would be concerned, And what I think has been good from a city perspective is that like City Corp, the city of Russellville, have brought along project managers and like people to work with the community.
Let's just say the name, Dennis Overman.
Yeah, and
you just can't say enough good about him and Blackstone bringing him on.
They come to our shop. They walk around, Holly Hall, and they walk around downtown a couple of times a month and are just like, "How's it going? What can we do?" And then they relay that to the people doing the work, and they're like, "Okay, so like they're really concerned about this area during this time." So as far as what we have coming up, because they know like we don't know when they're going to be digging
something.
Doing the alleyway behind my shop or the concrete up front, in the front door. But when we do, if it's an emergency or we need something, like they take care of it. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that because as someone who's on the inside and knows about it as much as, except for the people doing the work, like it's been helpful. And I think the other business owners downtown appreciate that.
Okay, besides you as a business owner, why is it so important that we have a good downtown? Why is it important that downtown look good? I mean...
Well, so I was in a city a couple of weeks ago, similar in size to us. It was a little bit bigger, but their downtown was awful. Mm-hmm. But like, as someone who... I like to go to downtowns when I go somewhere. Like, I would say a lot of people like to go downtown.
I was in Colorado 2 years ago riding our motorcycle, and my gosh, I don't know if every downtown we visited was absolutely amazing. Yeah. And I'm like, we're in the middle of this project here, and I'm like, this is what we're going to be like. Yeah. And I could see that, and I'm like, people, we're located at Highway 7 and I-40 and Highway 64. I mean, my gosh, I can't wait for people to see the finished product.
Well, and when you talk about like the things that the city has done recently, the entertainment district and how that, surrounds the same area, and you have the stage at at Depot Park, and so we can convert community events and things that could be done outside to business downtown. Then that goes to sales tax, which pays for streets and drainage and some of these projects that we're doing. So like, it just, to me, the more money we spend on infrastructure for economic development, the more economic development we get. Like, it just seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it does, but a lot of people don't understand. I mean, if you're not in that mindset, because people, why are we spending money on sidewalks? Why are we spending money on beautification? Well, those are the things that attract people.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it. When you travel and you go somewhere and you know, like I say, if you go to a bad downtown, you don't feel good. You're not going to hang around that community. You're not going to go somewhere else. You're probably going to go somewhere else and eat. You're not, but if you go to somewhere where you got a downtown, you're like, hey, golly, this is really cool. Where's a restaurant? Or, hey, and while I'm waiting, weird story, and this they may edit this out, I don't know, but we're in North Carolina. And we're waiting in this amazing downtown. I can't remember what the name of it was, to go into this restaurant. And so I go over to this little store. It's called Mast General Store. If you're ever in Carolina, you should go to it. M-A-S-T General Store. And I, of all things, bought 3 pairs of socks. Just weird. They're my favorite socks.
Yeah.
It's what my wife gets me for Christmas. But it's because of an amazing downtown. And we were like, hey, let's go to this downtown. Let's eat. And I ended up going into the store. And now we order from this store that's not even in our town because it's really cool. But so that beautification, that quality of life really works to attract people to our community. And in turn, they're going to spend money that's going to increase our revenue and increase our quality of life.
Well, and not only that, but it leads to people developing and spending money in those areas as well. So not just like me as a retail shopper walking in and buying something, or someone going to eat at a restaurant, but the more that those economic development dollars are spent for those types of projects, the more you see big developers come in, like not big, like huge retail chain, but people who have money and want to develop a property to get the tax benefits and the, just their own personal growth, because they're good business people and they want to rent it out to people who want to run a business. So and like the building that we own is over 100 years old.
Wow.
Like who doesn't like
an old building
and having it restored? Like I watch restoration videos all the time, and so do millions of other people. And to be able to walk in and see, like we have photos of, this is what downtown Russellville looked like in 1912. And this is what it looked like in 2022, and you can see the same street from our vantage point, but our building is really nice because we've spent money into it, which also hired people to do the work, to do all of that goes back into the development.
I think, we're sitting in the Innovation Hub right now, which is a byproduct of the downtown project, because we're spending money in downtown
right now.
And then the building we're in, an investor
with 12 or 13 different businesses
and
more
crazy.
To come. Yeah.
And so, but they saw downtown growing and improving. So they took an old property that was dilapidated and they redeemed it. And then there's also
a lot of money redeveloping.
And there's also a property right next door, which is the old Exxon station that all of us are all too aware of. And they're redeeming that also to bring into something. So it actually, exactly what you're saying is, when you invest in downtown or you invest in things, it's going to encourage other investors to invest around, and it's going to breed growth, and it's going to breed great, amazing things. It's just
nobody likes to see beat up, torn down stuff. Like the downtown that I was in, that I was talking about at the beginning, was like it was like that. It was like, this is what it looked like 45 years ago, and it just died. Yeah. And the rest of the city was dead too. Like there were sections of the city near the interstate that had restaurants, and that was it. I mean, there wasn't like a huge popular, like a shopping area. There wasn't a nice downtown, and that's why. It's because the city, or I'm assuming that's why, because the city hasn't put money into. Because if we're not willing as a city to put money into making our place look nice, why is anybody else going to do that?
That's good.
If this is the same with, I feel this way about the pay. One of the things that we talk about a lot is, if we expect people to come in and bring good paying jobs, then working for the city needs to be a good paying job. Yes. Because if we're not paying our people, how can we expect someone else to come in and pay well either? Yes. And that's the same way in my house. Like if I don't respect my kids or my wife or myself, I can't expect people to treat me that way. I feel like we've got it backwards in a lot of ways or maybe some people that don't expect. And I get like people have budgets and they don't want to spend their money. And they don't like driving on beat up roads.
Yes.
You know, or they don't like looking at the gravel next to the concrete for 6 months.
Yes.
And it's like, what are they doing if they're not doing that? Well, we're waiting. We're literally waiting on streetlights.
Yeah, we're waiting on, and that's the thing. Let's go back to that dig project, the downtown project, because that is the largest project we've ever undertaken. And so we're going to use El Paso. That, you know, you and I hear that a lot. El Paso is a corridor, and it is bumpy right now.
Yeah.
But the reality is that all of the digging is not done on El Paso yet. There are certain things that we have to wait on in order to get all of the final digging.
There are 6 utility companies, or 5 or 6, I can't remember. There's the railroad, there's the Corps of Engineer, all of that. When we're the city, so like we can't. It's not like it's my property and I can just do whatever I want with it. Like even if I did, I would still have to get a permit. You know, if I wanted to build dig a ditch in my backyard, I kind of have to. Because I got to figure out where the utilities are and have to do all this other stuff. So, like, this takes a long time because it's 12 different entities.
And we are working on it, and the construction company is doing a great job. And we're getting closer and closer to completion. We've like I said, we've been waiting on some things, and those are coming. They're coming slowly, but they're coming, and we're going to get
light thing just blows my mind.
The traffic light, the transformers, different things, but we're working. So I mean that is the reality, but but we're doing the best to try to get that button up.
It's gonna look amazing.
It's gonna be amazing. I can't imagine.
What I would think that we as the city should do, and if we have them and we can put them on this video, that'd be great. And if not, I wonder if there is some concept of what the finished product looks like, and can we say like, hey, and even if we could edit it in the current, like take a photo of what's there now and superimpose the finished, like that would be great if we could do that so that people could kind of see what the vision is and say, yes, it looks like this now, but like, this was going to look like next year or 6 months from now.
I mean, you can just see it on the south side. You know, when you look at the new sidewalks, you look at the trees, you look at the landscape. And we're going to be paving the south side here pretty shortly. Yeah. And then we'll be able to see kind of what that looks like. And then, but once then you still got to go get all the Entergy poles down and all those different things. So I don't know, but like I say, I just wanted to talk to you about that. I feel like we may have rambled, but I think it's a good thing that. Quality of life, quality of place, it literally is workforce attraction. It actually, it attracts people to come to your town to spend money, to be able, we talked about some new growth here at the Innovation Hub. We've seen Point Remove come in, which is a new restaurant that's doing really good. We have our good staples of like Pasta Grill and Old Bank and Fat Daddy's and B Street, and then you've got downtown Taco. There's so much to do downtown, and you know that because you're down there every day. So,
when we moved to downtown in 2004, like it wasn't dead, it wasn't dying. It was really the beginning of the, we need to restore the downtown. And it took a couple of anchor type businesses that came and said, yeah, we're going to be here and we're going to put money into our own business and we're going to work hard and we're going to bring people. And then Main Street Russellville and the city were like, oh, this is great. They had several consultants come in and consult the city to say, hey, like this is happening all over the country. Look what it's doing. And we're getting to a point now where I think our downtown is one of the best I've ever been to.
We're getting, once that everything's done, it's just absolutely incredible. And so, and we will see the fruit of it. We'll see the results. More people will come. I promise you, more people.
I've not been to a lot of events like the Art Walk.
Holiday Glow Art Walk is just phenomenal. I love it. Well, you guys do a really good job of that too. So you guys do a good job. Thank you. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I appreciate you guys. Like I say, there is a method to the madness. There's a reason that the city council chooses to spend the money where we spend it, because it actually draws people to Russellville.
Right.
Which when you draw more people, that draws revenue and that draws resources to Russellville. So it's very important. It's just like I was in a meeting with our Recreation Parks team and Tourism Visitor Center. You know, we're drawing more people for baseball and softball than we ever have because we turfed the fields. So when we spend the money on sidewalks, when we spend the money on trails, which we didn't even talk about trails.
Right.
Trails are so important. When you spend the money on downtown soccer complex, you will draw more people than we've ever seen before. And so it's going to be great. And, rising tide raises all the ships.
Absolutely.
And our ship is rising. So.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Take care.